everybody. I'm Jane Anson of janeanson.com, and I am here today with Sue Hodder of Wynns. Hi, Sue. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Jane. Delighted to be here.
Well, lovely to see you. It's a pretty rainy morning here in Bordeaux. How are things with you?
Oh, well, it's a spring day. We'd like it to be a little bit warmer, but we've had beautiful winter rain and it's starting to warm up with bud burst.
Excellent, excellent. So we're here today to talk about the 2018 of the John Riddoch, which is pretty excitingly your 25th anniversary vintage. So can you tell me, how have you felt about the evolution from when you began working with this wine till today?
Oh, thank you, Jane. This is our flagship wine, so it's a genuine selection of less than 1% of the parcels that we grow and make here on the estate in Coonawarra. And we're looking for something that's a little bit more complex and interesting and age-worthy than our regular black label, which we love and revere as well, but just another level of interest with the John Riddoch. Over the decades since I've been here, we've done a lot of work in our vineyards and we've done a lot of different selections, and now we're doing berry sorting, and of course climate change has played a part in it all too. But these days we're still looking for a wine that captures the essence of Coonawarra, which is a medium-bodied wine that ages well and has these very clear red berry and hints of mint notes. So age-worthy, but still very primary and possibly approachable when young.
And you have this really interesting way of, you select from different parts of your vineyards each year, depending on the vintage. So what was your thought process for this year, and where did they mainly come from?
2018 was an interesting vintage because it was warmer than average, and the summer was indeed quite warm for Coonawarra terms. But then we had this phenomenon off the coast that we refer to as a cold upwelling. And they're very cold waters that are close to Coonawarra. So they an oceanographic phenomenon, and it really cooled the region down as the winds came off those cold waters, and that enabled us to take our time picking the parcels as we wanted to after the warm summer. So a vintage in two parts: warm summer, cooler finish, and just the opportunity to pick from three lovely old vineyards in the heart of the Terra Rossa soil that each have their own terroir and character and style, but ultimately have all contributed to the blend.
So a lovely long, slow ripening that gets some complexity going.
Quite right, yes, which we love.
And how old are the vines?
The vines range between 60 years, and the youngest that we would consider for John Riddoch would be, say, 25 years. Yep. So okay. Generally middle-aged vines.
That's fabulous. And so when you have that kind of a year where things change from being very hot to begin with and then cooler, what is it about the soils where you are that, I mean, how do they react to that?
Yes, well, ultimately it determines whether we've set the season up well with good, well, out of our control, but good winter rains, and therefore when we come to bud burst and set, we get evenness, and evenness is everything, as we say, and that just enables us to take our time and make the decisions that we want to without the pressures of high sugars or shriveling fruit or anything like that. So the season dictates that for us, but it gives us the choice to be more selective when it does occur.
Yeah, well, it's such a great result. It's one of the things that I always love about John Riddoch is this: you have this expression of Cabernet which has got so much purity to the fruit. So you really get those kind of sweeter, beautiful blackberries, cassis, and all of those kind of autumnal fruits. But then there's this shooting through of a fresher, the red fruits, the red currant, the raspberries, and it's such a lovely expression of the grape.
Thank you, Jane. We have to be very careful with these years getting slightly warmer, and Coonawarra, like the rest of the world, is getting warmer, that we maintain freshness and brightness, because ultimately that is drinkability and ageability.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You need to have that touch of freshness on the finish, the eucalyptus hints, the fresh mint, which kind of picks everything up. Well, it was a beautiful wine for me. I loved it. Thank you so much for chatting us, talking to us about the season.
Thank you, Jane, and I appreciate your support and showing interest in the wine.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us, Sue. And I am Jane Anson from janeanson.com. Thank you.